Shilvana, this is Dr. Jester talking to you about your Assignment 3 paper on Islam. First, you've organized it very well. You've done a great job of getting your material together, provide some great information. There is one problem. The issue here is that I'm going through your paper, I'm noticing a significant amount of quotes. Now, the idea behind using sources for your paper is that you know your source material, you can quote from it, certainly, but when you begin to quote too much from it, then you're letting the source make your argument. When that does, your voice disappears and you rely upon them to make your basic claims about the religion and let them provide all the information. So originality gets lost. There is a basic rule on that. So for similarity reports with Turnitin, there's a 20% threshold. But for quotation percentages, it's the same threshold. If you have over 20% of your document that is quoted material, not original, I usually am required to warn people over 20%, but if it gets above 30%, it requires a revision. If I look at your paper, hang on a minute, I'm going to go over here. So when I opened up Turnitin to check your paper, I do all papers. There is, from my point of view as an instructor, it gives me a message if percentages go over 30%. And when I brought yours out, that's exactly what happened here. And I check the filter button and I deselect ignore quotations. And when I deselect that and apply that, that gives me the exact percentage of your document, which is quoted from the outside sources. Yours is 47%. So if you look down through here, those are all the sources you're quoting from, and everything that's quoted is highlighted in different colors depending on the source. So I'm looking through this. It's just like almost a large percentage of this information is not original to you. Here we have one major problem. If you look at this large quote, not only do you have a quote that takes up most of that paragraph, but you have also not cited a source for that quote. That's considered plagiarism. And plagiarism, of course, is a very serious academic breach of conduct for ethical violations. That's something that was probably overlooked. I understand. It does happen. Unfortunately, with this kind of issue, you're going to have to go back and revise this and eliminate the number of quotes you're using. So you're going to have to rewrite that in your own words so that you get that percentage down to about 20%. How do you do that? Well, use your own words to describe what they are saying. Don't try to quote big swaths of material from a source, because that's not going to help you. So you're going to have to rewrite this, revise it, eliminate some of those quotes, say the same thing but use your own words. As far as the information in your document, it's really good. That gives us a general idea of everything going. You had a good purpose statement. You could make it a little bit more specific to the 5 pillars, but that's the major problem here. And just remember, going forward, you can't quote large chunks of material from the source. You have to try to make those as little as possible, where you can summarize what your source is saying. When you do that, it lets your reading audience know that you know what the source is saying. You don't have to quote from the source because you understand the material. Okay, I hope you understand what we're talking about. It is a major issue and a lot of work. So I'm going to give you about 5 days to get this revised and resubmitted. And there is a 10% penalty for all revisions, and only one is allowed. But if you have any questions about that, I'm going to be posting this information to the individual forum, and this video will be uploaded to YouTube. Okay? Thanks a lot.